This is Henry Chamberlain, and this is another edition of a Comics Grinder. This is going to be a look at The Projector and Elephant by Martin Vaughn-James. And this is the first North American printing of this work. And it is entitled The Projector and Elephant, or you could say The Elephant and the Projector. But I think that the proper one's the Projector and Elephant. I say all that because this is a wonderful book. It's two books in one. If you flip it, you get the other title. But to begin with, Elephant is the first book, chronologically speaking. Elephant was like the prototype in a way, or the first attempt at creating a work. And in the case of Martin Vaughn-James, the first attempts at whatever he was working on are very significant, since he is a forerunner of what we now know, what we all now know as graphic novels. Back then, there were not so many graphic novels. There were a few, but not enough where it was even given a name. The best that Martin Vaughn-James and Coach Press could come up with was movies, books plus movies. The experience was like a book and a movie. So you had this very odd term, movies. But then later they came up with picture novel, which stuck for a while. Now, Elephant is, like I say, the first attempt, and I kind of, for my druthers, is the best attempt of the two in a lot of ways. And it's just me. You might have a different opinion if you were to see it, but I just think that the crisp black and white work is just so satisfying. For the other work, the Projector, they went with a brown paper. So black ink on brown paper is not quite as satisfying, but it's definitely different. But so let me, I'm getting kind of ahead of myself, but let me go back a little bit here. Now, Projector is the bigger book. Elephant is supposed to be the smaller book. And Elephant is what now is understood to be a mini comic. It's a book that is, well, it's a smaller scale work, and it's usually a pamphlet-sized comic. It's a permanent fixture at comic art festivals, at various art festivals, but comic art festivals in particular. So, and this one actually is not the most common mini comic size. The mini comics usually are smaller. This was an 8.5 by 11 piece, and this was back in 1970, 71. So he was definitely a trailblazer, and I just think it's just so out of left field. Lots of surreal influenced stuff going on. Andre Breton was his favorite artist, and of course he was aware of the underground cartoonists, but he was definitely a person marching to the beat of his own drummer. And a lot of the work is understated. There's nothing that's very, say, provocative. It's more like, and I'd say like protest art in a way. Some of the choices he makes, they're more like being subversive. Like, and he holds back a lot, as opposed to some of the underground cartoonists. There's not much in the way of sexual content. And what there is, it seems more like a subversive thing going on. It's not objectifying. It's more like just, I'm going to, okay, if you want a nude, I'm going to do it, but in an ugly way, which is interesting. That's his approach. Now, Projector is the bigger book. It's supposed to be the more ambitious book. And actually, they're about the same page length. The Projector's a little bit longer, and it's just as much fun as Elephant. But for my taste, black art on brown it makes it so muted. But then again, he has a muted sensibility about him, like you see here. Here's a really gorgeous little nude figure piece, but at the same time there's an ugliness to it. So it's a subversive protest art sensibility that I was referring to. And then he's got like these really hardened Disney-like characters, three little pigs, and they're examining an actual carcass of meat. So subversive stuff, but understated also. And that's about as provocative as it gets here. This might be his alter ego or an everyman character. He's walking around naked, but only momentarily, and then we go more to a kind of a slapstick humor, understated, offbeat humor. But it's definitely a lost gem that's been found, rediscovered. This is all thanks to New York Review Comics. New York Review Comics. We can thank them for this treasure, which will now have a permanent home, a more stable place where we can contemplate it, assess it, see where it fits in to with all the other works of comics out there, going back to Lynn Ward. But yeah, so there we go. Martin Vaughn-James, Projector, Elephant. The Projector and Elephant, New York Review Comics.